Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing good. So, in today's video, which is again a topic taken from animal classification, we are going to study about the criteria for new system of classification. At present, according to the five kingdom classification system of Robert Whittaker, all multicellular animals are included in kingdom Animalia. This system of classification is based upon some criteria like grades of organization, body symmetry, germ layer, body cavity, which is also called as coelom, and body segmentation. So let's take a deep look into what exactly these criteria are. So first, taking a look at grades of organization. Now, all the body of animals is made up of cells, right? In case of multicellular organisms, many cells are performing different functions in their body. While in unicellular, since the body is made up of only one cell, all functions are performed by the same cell only. Now, these grades of organization are protoplasmic grade, wherein only one cell will perform all the function. Then cellular grade, where in case of these the tissues are not formed. Then cell tissue grade, in these animals tissues are formed. Then tissue organ grade, in these animals organs are formed. And organ system grade, wherein the organ systems are found in the animals. So let's start with protoplasmic grade organization. In this grade of organization, all the unicellular animals are included, which are made up of only one cell, of course, and all the functions are performed by only one single cell of the body, and that is why it is called as protoplasmic grade organization. What do we understand by protoplasm? You can write it down. It is the colorless material comprising the living part of a cell, including the cytoplasm, nucleus, and other organelles. Followed? So it includes cytoplasm as well as nucleoplasm and other organelles. That is called as protoplasm. Okay. You can write down the examples: paramecium, euglena, stentor, and amoeba. Moving on to the next, that is cellular grade organization. In multicellular animals, sometimes the tissues are not formed. These cells are present in group, but they are not in the form of tissues. There they are called as cellular grade organization. One such organization is seen in phylum Porifera. You can see in the diagram how the collar cells are arranged, right? These collar cells are arranged just near the ostium, which helps it take in the food through water, right? You can see the amoebocytes there in the diagram, which is taken up through ostia. Followed? So animals belonging to phylum Porifera show cellular grade organization. Clear? So only Porifera phylum shows cellular grade of organization. Moving on to the next, that is cell tissue grade organization. Now in this type of organization, cells come together and they form tissues. With the help of these tissues, the body functions will be performed by the animals. For example, phylum Cnidaria. So tissue grade of organization, cell tissue grade organization is seen in case of Cnidaria, which is our second phylum. Next is tissue organ grade organization. Now flatworms belonging to phylum Platyhelminths, they show tissue organ grade organization. The tissues are organized to form some organs, but not complete organs are formed. In such case, it is called as tissue organ grade organization, which is seen in case of Platyhelminths. Now, I have shown here planaria, which is an example of platyhelminths, flatworms. Followed. So porifera was cellular grade, then cell tissue, then platyhelminths is tissue organ. Moving on to the next, that is organ system grade organization. Now, besides the 4 types of body organizations mentioned, remaining all the animals show organ system grade organization. Means right from Aschelminths till Chordata, they all show organ system grade organization, in which different organs come together to form a particular system. For example, nose, trachea, lungs, they all come together to form respiratory system. Such organ systems are seen in the animal showing organ system grade organization. You can give any examples from the animals right from Aschelminths to Chordata. Next criterion is that of body symmetry. Now, what exactly is body symmetry? Suppose if body of an animal is cut through an imaginary axis, it may not produce 2 halves. Sometimes it may produce. If it is producing 2 halves, then it is called as bilateral symmetry. If it is not, then it is a symmetrical body. Or if it can be cut through any plane, then it is called as radial symmetry. Let's take a look in detail. Asymmetrical body. In case of such body, there is no any such imaginary axis of the body through which we can get 2 equal halves, right? So basically they cannot be divided equally into two halves. That is why they are called as asymmetrical. For example, amoeba. Next, radial symmetry. Now, if imaginary cut passes through the central axis but any plane of body, it gives 2 equal halves. Means you cut the body through any plane, right? It will yield you 2 equal halves. Such bodies is having radial symmetry. For example, starfish. You cut it from anywhere, you will get 2 equal halves. Followed, then jellyfish, hydra, any such animal you take, they have radial symmetry. Followed, so radial symmetry is shown in cnidarians basically. Poriferans have asymmetrical body. So 2 we studied, asymmetrical, porifera, radial, cnidaria. Moving on to the next, that is bilateral symmetry. Rest all right from platyhelminths till Chordata. Right from platyhelminths till Chordata will show bilateral symmetry, wherein only one such imaginary axis of the body is there to cut it into 2 equal halves. Followed, you can take any example, butterfly, scorpion, our own body, insects, fishes, frogs, anything, right? So again, asymmetrical body, porifera, radial symmetry, cnidaria, bilateral symmetry, right from platyhelminths till Chordata. Very good. Next, now germ layer, that is the third criteria, right? What is germ layer? You can write it down. A germ layer is a group of cells in an embryo that interact with each other as the embryo develops and contribute to the formation of organs and tissues. So it's a group of cells, right, which is formed in an embryo. They interact and they form organs and tissues. Followed, so in multicellular organisms, these germ layers are formed during initial period of embryonic development, and from these germ layers different tissues will arise from the body. In some animal, you can see only 2 germ layers, that is ectoderm and endoderm. Ectoderm means outer layer, endoderm means inner layer. For example, in case of cnidarians, there are only 2 germ layers. Followed, whereas in remaining animals 3 germ layers are formed. That is ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Followed, that is why those animals are called as triploblast. Triple layers are there, and those animals having only 2 germ layers, they are called as diploblast. Right? Cnidarians are diploblastic, whereas others are triploblastic. Porifera are only single cells, though there is no question of germ layers. Moving on to the next. Now, in between the germ layer, there lies a cavity which is called as body cavity, right? So the cavity which is present between body and the internal organs, right, is called as body cavity or coelom. Now in case of multicellular animals, during the initial period of their embryonic development, body cavity is formed from either gut or mesoderm. Followed, body cavity is formed from the gut or mesoderm. Such body cavity is called as true coelom. Now what is true coelom? Coelom which is entirely lined with mesoderm. It is called as true coelom. And that is why such animals are called as eucoelomate. Eucoelomate means having true cavity. Animals belonging to phylum Annelida, and all the animals after phylum Annelida, that is annelids, arthropods, mollusks, echinodermata, hemichordates and chordata, they all are showing true cavity. They are eucoelomates. Next, now certain animals are acoelomate, means having means having no cavity. In case of animals from phylum Aschelminths, they have body cavity, but it is not formed by above mentioned 2 ways, right? One way is where the coelom is entirely lined with mesoderm, right? And another is it is not lined completely with mesoderm. Followed? So these are called as pseudocoelomates. So we have three types of animals here. A coelomate without any body cavity, right, where we are including poriferans, cnidarians and platyhelminths. They are called as acoelomate. Another one is having true cavity. So right from annelida till chordata they have true coelom, means their coelom is entirely lined with mesoderm. And another one is pseudocoelom, wherein it is not completely lined with the mesoderm. Followed. Moving on to the next criteria, that is body segmentation. Now, if the body of animals is divided into smaller and similar units, then such body is called as segmented body, right? And each unit is called as a segment. For example, animals like earthworm from phylum Annelid, right? They show body segmentation. So that's it about the criteria of animal classification using new system. First was grades of organization, then body symmetry, then germ layers, then body cavity and body segmentation. I hope you all understood the topic well, and thank you for watching the video.